Boss, what does this say on here?
Welcome, bienvenue,
Yeah.
benvenuto, in Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the whole of this say?
Bienvenue to our new coach, Arsene Wenger. We wish him a very long stay.
Wow.
And they were right.
They were right, yeah.
Did you ever think that it would
Never.
last this long?
No, because you know, it's exactly the same when playing football. You think about the next game, the next game, the next game. And when you look back, you think suddenly it's over. And you have played 15 years, you don't know how it has gone, but it has gone. Because the big advantage in our job is you go always to the future and not back. Thierry just asked me some questions about my stats at the club. I don't know, because I'm at Burnley at the moment, you know.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
You know, one of the biggest things that people keep asking me, and I always tell them, when you first came, was, you know, the half time it went 15 for the 15, and then when you came in the dressing room, you never said nothing for 10 minutes.
No.
Was this something you done all the time? Because I found it strange.
Yeah, most of the time I do that. Yeah.
Why?
Because first of all, most of the time you're in an emotional state. When you come in the dressing room, you're upset, you're angry. You have to calm down. You can do a lot of damage, and you have to not talk too much. When you talk too much, nobody knows really what you say. You know, so you keep 2-3 things. And I never was a great believer that you talk for 15 minutes at halftime. And sometimes I believe the players have to calm down as well, and the players have to communicate with each other as well, because that's the best. The players know, no matter what the managers say, the players know better what's going on the pitch.
Is that from France, Strasbourg?
It's my personality, I think.
Japan?
You know. A little bit both. Japan changed me for sure, and but it's
With
as
the
well
flip-flops?
maybe. Sorry?
With more the hygiene side or mentally side or just
The mental
preparing
side. The mental side. I learned to calm down, to respect, you know, and because basically I'm a very passionate guy. When if I lose my head, I become completely crazy.
I've never seen
Well,
you. I've never seen you.
No,
like this.
but
I've seen
that's
it.
why I know that.
When did you see it? I've never seen the boss only recently showing any kind of like anger. I've never seen
I've
it.
seen it. It was in 2009 when we played against Liverpool
In the dressing room.
at Anfield. Yeah, he was shouting on us, and we were 1-0 down. And after his speech, we went back to the ground, and we won. And everybody at this time all the players were shocked. But he works. But he works.
But I knew very early I tried to control myself, you know, because it's a job. You cannot give advice. I think all of you can be managers, but you can only be with your own personality and by being who you really are. And that's what it is about. Let's not be fooled. The game belongs to the players. It's as simple as that, you know. And I believe I'm strongly convinced that it's the players on the pitch. Why? Because the game is so great. You play 11 against 11. That's a billion of different situations possible, and no situation is exactly the same when the previous one. So the players has always to make a decision, perceive the situation, make a decision, and execute. No manager in the world can absolutely tell the player exactly at the second what will happen to him. The player have to make that decision on the football pitch. And you have to put them in a position where they can make clear decisions. And that's why you have great players and less great players.
Is that how you pick players? If you went to buy a player, did you kind of look into that?
Yeah.
Or would you just decide on a hunch? I think I've had enough people who said he's good, I'm going to go for him.
No, I have to be convinced myself. because you cannot be good if you don't really think that the player is top. And
How can you
always
make
try
that
and
decision, boss? How can you know? I would hate to be in this managerial position where you have to say, I like him, but I don't think it's going to be the one. How do you do that? How do you do it?
well, you have to, at the end of the day, somebody has to make a decision. And I believe that the manager is first a guide, but managing a football team or football club is about selection and making decisions. You know, it's as simple as that. So it doesn't mean that you have it always right, but at the end of the day, between three players, you can only choose one. You have to make a decision at some stage. And I tell you, even when you pick the team, it's the same. You know about 8, 9, but the last 2, sometimes you don't sleep the whole night, and you don't know the next morning. So now I make early decisions, because I think if I don't know on Friday morning, I will not know on Saturday morning. You know.
But when you was buying players, would you think that, did you feel having David Dean there, was that a good partnership in the
Yeah, it
early
was.
days?
Negotiating.
Maybe he'd push you a little bit further than you wouldn't
No, it
normally
was
go.
David Dean was a very good negotiator, you know, and who was doing all the commercial and the negotiations in the contract. And of course, you experienced that period. After that, I must say as well, the competition became harder. We decided to move in a new stadium 2006, and at the same time we had less finances available. We had competition from Chelsea, you know, 2006. When we won the double 2004, Chelsea was second.
Yes, yeah.
And they brought on top Essien, Drogba, Carvalho, Makelele, and we had to slowly sell our best players.
Yeah.
Plus Man United, who had the exceptional generation. So, and after Man City came in, so of course, and you have always a surprise team, you know, but it became much more difficult to compete financially. And this was the difficult years, 2006 to 2012, because we had still good players, top players, but maybe not the maturity to be consistent enough. We had many young players, you know.
Boss, wasn't there a time where somebody from the board or someone could say that we might, as a club, have some barren times because of the fact that we're going to have to pay for this, so it's not going to be the kind of players that you might be expecting to be at the club anymore.
Yeah.
We're going to have to go through. Why didn't someone from the club just say something?
I don't know, because I'm responsible for the results, and what happened at the time, Ian, is that the first 5, 6 years were very delicate, because we had to pay back our debt. We had to pay. We had to make 55,000 people on average. We didn't know if we would fill the stadium, and we had to be 3 years out of 5 in the Champions League. So I signed for that, and knowing that the 5 years will suffer, maybe 7 or 8 or 9. But today is different, because the commercial income has improved a lot, and the weight of the Champions League is not so big anymore in our income than it was before. So we are in a much more better financial situation to compete. That's why when you take over from me, you will have the needed money.
It's funny, because we were speaking the other day. I had to do a program, and Martin Keown was saying how strong and how the foundation of the club is now, what you've done to this point. When you talk about people taking over, how strong it is. Do you think this is, if a manager was going to come, it couldn't come into a stronger situation than what Arsenal is now?
Yeah, but I always felt that, you know, as a manager, you have an influence on 3 levels. 1, on the career, individual career of the player. You're not successful with every player. 2, on the style of play and the results of the team. And 3, on the structure of the club. And I think I like to think that the club today is at a different level than when I arrived. And as well, when I will leave, that I will leave a good team with strong financial resources and good structures at the club. But it will be my pride to see that somebody comes in and does better. At least he's in a position to do better. At least he's in a position to do better, you know, because it's important, I think, for the legacy. Because for me, a club is about as well identity and values. The values are here carried by the manager because I stay here for a long time. And I hope that these values that are respected all over the world, you know, will continue because it's based on respect, humility, togetherness, and as well move forward because this club has never been historically shy to move forward. Because when they appointed me, they needed to be brave.
So you think now Arsenal will be ready to spend more money on players?
We did, William. We did, you know. We spent a lot of money this year. I bought Mustafi, I bought Xhaka, we bought Lucas Perez.
He look like he's more experienced player now.
Yes, yes, you know well that to be a real football player, you need to be 23 years old. Because before you learn your job.
It's true.
And you have a great game, and after sometimes an average game. You can have one or two, like at the moment we have like Hector Bellerin, you know, but exceptional talents. But the core, it will be, but the core of the team has to be from 23 to 30. And if you look well at the national teams, you never win a tournament with a young team, you know. Because it's more mental at some stage to win something big. You need to have a certain level of experience.
Because I'm very happy to have, you know, that conversation with you now. Because, you know, when I joined Arsenal in 2006, you know, it was almost only young players who were around. And I didn't understand why Arsenal doesn't want to buy experienced players, you know.
Because you had not the money.
That was the time, That was the
They had not the money, you know,
stadium.
and I just made an interview with Thierry Henry. At some stage he told me, look boss, that's nice to have, you know, young players, but I'm 30 years old. I have no time to wait until they're ready to win. I want to go now. What I could understand, because when a guy gets to 30, the clock ticks, and you think, there's not much time left for me, I have to win now. And that's why Patrick, Thierry, they all left because of that reason.
Did they lose patience?
You never, of course, you can never cheat the dressing room. They smell it in the dressing room, you know.
They know.
The players know. The
But
players
there was
know.
times when you could maybe mix it. Sometimes if you got an older player, and obviously the price of it, or maybe on a free, that was a possibility. Because you used to do that, like Suka.
Yeah, maybe. Look, I did not say I didn't make any mistakes, but the general way was we had to sell our best players, you know, and I tried to get players with experience in, like William, but you need the core of the team has to be experienced. If you go, and when you arrived, you had, I look at the photos today, they're all men.
Yeah.
All.
Yeah.
You know, so that to compete at the top level, you need a certain level of experience.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to ask you, boss, I always wanted to know, when you first came, and he's dead now, obviously, a dear friend, Tibers, and you sent me to Tibers, how come you sent me to him? What was it for? Was it because I was over 30?
Because Tibers had something special that I think, I think many times about him.
Yeah, me too.
And he was just a man who could talk to an individual and think, I am on the same wavelength with this guy in sport and get the best out of him in a short period of time.
Yeah.
All the players I sent there were ready to die for him. You know?
Absolutely.
And
You know Tibers, William?
I know him. I didn't work with him, but I know
amazing.
him.
At his funeral, Yannick Noah made the speech, and because he trained tennis players.
Yeah.
And he described him so well, you know. It was exactly the Tibius that we know. And I sent Tony Adams to him. And sometimes when I felt that the player needs something
Quick,
to
sharp,
remotivation
yeah.
and resharpen up, you know, it's like a knife. He could do that.
Also, with South of France, it's quite nice there.
Exactly. that's why I sent him.
That's the first title. When you first came and you gave us all the tech, the nutrition and everything, when did you realise from this 96 to the time we done it that this team could win this first title, and how much did it mean to you, this one?
It was big, you know. I mean, the most was 97, 98.
Yes.
And I realised slowly when we won at Manchester.
Yes.
But the strange night when you won as well at Wimbledon, do you remember that they interrupted the game? And
Yes, when the lights, yes. Why that night? That was a strange night.
Because we didn't play well and we won 1-0. I think it's Christopher Wright
Yes, it was.
who scored the goal.
Christopher.
And I thought, we have won. We are not far away from Manchester now. If we win there, we have a chance.
Do you remember the interview when Alex Ferguson said that it's going to be tough for them simply because they're going to have to win so many games and there's no way they're going to be able to win all these games?
Yeah,
Did you see
I
this? Do you
that
remember this?
exactly?
Yeah, I remember this.
But we
interview.
won there at Manchester, you know, that made the difference.
That was when
you know,
Nicholas,
Marco
yeah.
Overmars. One of a few headers Dennis won.
Yeah.
You know.
Nicholas won the header.
Nicholas won the header?
Nicholas won the header, because this is when it was happening. Because I was injured at this time as well, and when I was watching the team, even watching the team training, I remember when you first started us with the nutrition and the tablets and it was when you said if you trust this, you will be stronger and fitter than everybody when we come to the late stages, and it was so true. I've never been that fit and strong since that. And the boys still, obviously it's moved on, but are they still strong and with everything?
Yeah.
What they do, is still very much what you're doing?
You know, it's a bit more sophisticated. But I think what has changed a lot today is in the preparation. It's much more sophisticated. You have the diet, the video, the preparation in the gym. But at the end of the day, on the Saturday, it's down to personality. You know, how much do you want it? How calm can you be under pressure when you play the back in the 92nd minute and the ball gets in the box? It's still the same. But yes, it's much more. When I arrived, we were 2 or 3 around the team. Today we are 20, you know. So the manager today manages a team around the team.
Isn't that too many people to have to tell you so much?
You have to keep it under control, and it's not easy because there's a lot. The more people you have, the more opinions you have, the more. And I think the modern manager today gets so many informations that for him it is about selecting the 2 or 3 important criteria, you know, who help him to make the decision, because you can be flooded by too many informations as well. And at the end of the day, you have to trust your eye.
Do you think that's gone a little bit? Trusting your eye?
Yeah, it could be so.
Or in football in general?
It could be so that in 20 years, the guy who manages football team is not a football specialist.
He's just, what will he?
Just because the computer will tell him who to pick.
My gosh.
You know, the players who are the best blood tests, the best fitness
like
tests.
Moneyball.
Who's not tired?
What the computer chooses is the best combination of the team, and it could be just a guy, who is certainly a big brain, and you could even imagine that in the interactive world, in 20 years, the supporters have the right to make one change at half time. Why not?
They change on Twitter.
Or pick the defense, you know, on social networks. The interactive world takes
I hope it doesn't
the
get that far.
I've got to say.
It can happen.
But it's the Invincibles. You have to talk about the Invincibles because you're talking about building the team. When did you realise at the stage, because when you had the players what you had in that Invincibles time, that's a team I wanted to be playing. Still wanted to be playing football in that team, because some of the times you watch the game and it was close to the game and then boom, in 10 minutes it's 4-0. When did you realise that you had such an unbelievable team?
First, Ian, I didn't realize at all because I see it today. When you have a team, you see only the imperfections, you know. But I knew I had a super team because I had a good combination of power with Colo and you were two physical monsters at the back, and Ashley Cole and Lauren on the flanks, you know, it's good football players as well. And but in 2003. I think we lost the championship, and I asked the players in pre-season, why did we lose the championship? And they told me, because of you. I said, oh yes, why? They said, because you put us under too much pressure, because you said we want to win the championship without losing a game, you know. And I told them, look, I believe you can do it.
I thought it was because of me, because I missed the last 4 games.
Seriously, is that what happened?
And then I said, look, I believe really we can do that. It would be great. We can do something special. Let's go for it at least. And I don't know how it happened, but game after game we didn't lose. And we won the championship with 5 games to go. So I told, usually you lose the next game.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
Because everybody switches off.
It was so nerve-wracking.
So I told them, who wanted to have a breather, now you can become immortal.
Yes.
You know. And in the end, we just got over the line because we
Leicester.
played the draw here, at Portsmouth, here and there.
I believe you need, obviously, there's elements of good players, hard work, you know, skill, strength, pace, young, old, whatever, and then a good team ethos going on. But sometimes you need that, you need to make your luck as well.
As well.
I think that's for sure.
But when you play or when you're a manager, you have to ignore luck. You know, we say
you can't build on luck.
You can't build on luck, but every now and again it's nice to it comes in and you've worked for it.
Of course,
of course. Like I was saying, you know, the more I work harder, the luckier I get.
Boss, I've got to ask you just quick before we go, because I know we've got to go soon. The Emirates and the way it's gone with the Emirates. Are you happy with everything that has come on top of you with what's happened? We've had to build the Emirates, and you know you've had to put the teams in the Emirates. We had to qualify for the Champions League continuously while we've been there, and you, in the way that you have become the manager, the great manager you are, and what you won before, sacrifice a lot of that for the Emirates. Is that been worth it for you? And I'm talking from a selfish point of view, which you obviously are not selfish.
I think it's a very good question, Ian, because I will face that question one day when you know. But I felt as well that there, of course, is the aspect of winning Premiership that is not replaceable. But as well, there is, I think, loyalty. I think is important because the only thing quality I give myself, I said no to many clubs to conduct this project, to survive with the important expenses you made. And at the end of the day, is it right or wrong? I don't know, but I'm happy for having done it because now the club is in a different era, and hopefully we'll continue to play at the top and win championships again. But it's not easy, and but it's maybe my personality because I found the values at this club that I like in the game. And sometimes I think that is very important because on the other hand, I must say as well, the club gave me a chance when I was nobody. And I still like to think that loyalty exists, you know, and the club stood always by me, even in the bad periods. So.
Yeah, but boss, you say he was nobody. I remember watching the FIFA World Player Year when George Weah dedicated his award to you.
Yes.
This is the first time I heard of Arsene Wenger. And when, you know what I mean, I saw this one where you came and you could visibly see people saying, George Weah dedicated.
But that's the ignorance of British people.
No, but it was just people, everybody. This
But
is
in
what,
France,
but the boss was the
In
one who
France,
just said
I
that he was
known,
nobody.
Yes, but in England, you know, England at the time was it's not like today. It was not like today in '96. It was only English managers, and the few who were here before were not really successful. So it was a belief that a foreign manager cannot be successful. In a traditional club like Arsenal, it was not so popular. But you speak about Highbury. Highbury, in my heart, is special, you know, because it was, I don't know, was the soul in there.
It was difficult to play there.
Yeah.
Difficult.
It was difficult. Me, I remember, you know, with Chelsea, when we used to play against you, you know, how difficult it was to play. Because, I don't know why, maybe because the crowd.
Our
The
pitch
crowd
was
was
small,
so close
and the pitch
to
was
the
small
pitch.
as well. We was tight.
Well, one of the things I always kind of was thinking, the team that played, you started with at the Highbury, you reckon if we had the team when I was there at the Emirates, how would you think it would fared? Because for me, when I started to play, we needed a bigger pitch. We used to play better away from home. Yes, it was nice to play at Highbury because it's our home and it was fantastic. But the players probably prefer a bigger pitch. Like Thierry, if
Like
Thierry had a
Thierry,
bigger
yeah,
pitch,
as he ran, yeah.
all of us loved a bigger pitch. Do you think we would have fared better?
Maybe, but maybe it's Highbury is associated with me because I was young, coming there, winning straight away, you know, and it's linked with success. And after the Emirates, but of course the team with exceptional football players would have done as well, if not better, at the Emirates. But it takes you a while to feel really at home.
Yes.
West Ham is facing
Absolutely.
that a little bit now. You don't feel, where do you play? You do not feel really you play at home.
But the fans, they're having problems with their fans, West Ham, because of everything what happens. They need to find out where this one's going to sit, where that one's going to sit. What about our fans? And I know that you know that a lot of them are frustrated. How do you feel about the fans right now? Do they understand? Are they starting to appreciate the 20 years, what you've done, what you've sacrificed?
I don't know, Ian. I feel we have always number of people who do not agree with you, what you can understand. I am in a job that is a public job, and you have to accept that not everybody is on your side, but you try your best, and that you stick to what you think is right. When you make a decision, you think I think that's the right decision for the club, and after you have to defend it and to live with it. That's all you can do. But what happened, what has changed today, the environment is become more demanding, better informed, more opinionated, and more definite opinions, you know. And it's not always a majority, many times it's a minority. But they have access.
Allow this,
They have access to speech. We come back to what I think is important, is resistance to stress.
So that's why you are very calm.
Yeah. But it's important as a player as well, you know, William, you have, people forget. When you're a young player, you walk in the dressing room, nobody welcomes you, you know. You have to say, here I am, my friends, from now on, you have to count with me. I'm ready to have a go, you know. That demands a kind of personality and resistance. And I've seen many players who cannot make that. That first step is very important. First, you show to your peers in the dressing room that you're one of them and that you're ready to have a go and to show them that you're really a player. You have gone through that. And that you belong to this world. You know, you came even later.
How would you feel your legacy is?
I think I try to be honest, committed, and loyal during my career here, and that I was not ashamed for this club, and that I leave the club in a position where it can move on. And today Arsenal is don't know how many fans we have all over the world, but it's a respected and loved club, and I hope that it will become even bigger in the future. That's what I would love to see, hopefully from paradise.
You can't finish on anything better than that. The boss will be in paradise. I don't know if I'll be there with him. If I'm going to be totally honest, I'm too wicked.
a famous guy said, I would love to be in paradise for the harmony and in hell for the company.
I'm going to take that one. I'm not going to let people know you told me. Thanks a lot, boss. It's good to see you, man.
See you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Coach,
See you, William.
see you.
À bientôt.
À bientôt.